Well, good morning, America. I am Dylan Caberto reporting to you from Inventing News. Recent news have come in that is going to change your lives forever and enhance future generations. Overall, today we will start you off on the best foot first. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. Many things now and age have been altering the U.S. economy and in a short amount of time. Some agree with being a cornucopian, and some agree with being a Cassandra. From new social media to benefiting our industrial age, we'd like to celebrate 72 years of inventions benefiting the United States of America. Starting with Alyssa Rogers. How are you, Alyssa?
Christmas was fantastic, and speaking of Christmas, Sir Henry Cole has recently created a simple way to tell family Merry Christmas on a little postcard in 1843. Thank you. With the help of the first photograph in 1835 by Louis Daguerre, the simple reason for this invention is because he was just simply too busy to write individual postcards to friends and family. I know we've all felt that way maybe once or twice. The Christmas card was concluded with a simple picture and says Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. With the help of Louis Daguerre, 1838, the first photograph was taken. Weirdly enough, the hour that the photo was taken was known, but not the year. Our newscast was informed that it was between 1838 and 1839. How mysterious. Moving on to bigger and better technology, let's talk about the moving pictures. In 1984, the Lumiere brothers created the very first moving picture. Louis developed workers leaving the Lumiere factory in Lyon, also known as employees leaving the Lumiere factory and exiting the factory. It is an 1895 French short black and white silent documentary film directed and produced by Louis Lumiere. It is often referred to as the first real motion picture ever made, as a better version of the dry plate that later known became the blue label plate. What a fascinating way to start the movies. Following up on my report, I must inform everyone on the X-ray that W.K. Röntgen accidentally invented by himself. X-ray image. The close of 1895, he published his observations and mailed his colleagues a photograph of the bones of his wife's hand, showing her wedding ring on her fourth finger. Sadly enough, our crew does not have pictures of this because they say it's confidential since it's in the past. Thank you.
From X-rays to the radio, which was invented in 1895 by Guglielmo Marconi, he made it accessible for people across the country to receive news information. Marconi raised the height of his radio antenna and hit upon the idea of grounding his transmitter and receiver. With these improvements, the system was capable of transmitting signals up to 2 miles and over hills. There has been even more advancing technologies that we are seeing benefiting the country too. To help document stories and articles more efficiently, they are needed the help of the typewriter, which was developed by Christopher Sholes. The typewriter began production in 1873 and appearing on the American market in 1874. The Sholes & Gilden is a decorative machine that looked rather like a sewing machine, as it was manufactured by the sewing machine department of the Remington Arms Company. The invention allowed the Morse code to be translated secretly between allies. Morse code was the first invention created to send messages using electricity. The device was presented before Congress in 1844, transmitting the famous message, "What hath God wrought?" over a wire from Washington to Baltimore. By 1851, there was over 50 telegraphic companies. 32 years later, the telephone was invented by Alexander Bell in 1876, having contact with various parts of the country. In October, he successfully tested his telephone over a 2-mile distance between Boston and Campbellport in 1877. He formed the Bell Telephone Company with 2 investors, and the first commercial applications of the phone took place. What happened to the light bulb? We'll be right back with you after this commercial break.
Introducing the new one-of-a-kind dessert that will have you melting on a hot summer's day. This Jacob Fussell brand ice cream has a delicious chilled sweet fruit cream made just for your taste buds. It's a strawberry and vanilla flavor that creates a swirl of thick coolness and releases a sugary, savory delight on your tongue. Mmm. 4, 3, 2, 1. What's in 1851? Ice cream, ice cream. Made specially for you at the Fussell Manufacturing Factory. Must be richer to order at your finest marketing place. Tired of using the bucket to wash away your wastes? While the flushing toilet is intended to be as perfect as a sanitary closet can be made, the 1852 George Jennings design includes the entrances with illuminated arches and elaborate metal railings. The interiors were initially finished in slate, but is now switched to ceramic tiling. This design also includes the pan and trap of the water closet being constructed as a single piece, so formed that there should always be a certain quantity of water retained in the pan itself, in addition to that in the trap which forms the water joint. So what are you waiting for? Try this new installation today at the nearest public area there is to you. We won't toilet you down.
Speaking about light bulbs, Thomas Edison invented the first electric light bulb in 1879. Edison experimented with thousands of different filaments to find just the right materials to glow well and be long-lasting. In 1879, Edison discovered that a carbon filament in an oxygen-free bulb glowed but did not burn up for 40 hours. Edison eventually produced a light bulb that could glow for over 1,500 hours. While Karina's fixing the light bulb, let's take it back to the road where Rachel Blackburn is reporting from. Hi, Rachel.
Hi Riley, what I'm standing on right now is called concrete, which was put together by Monnier in 1849. He patented the idea in 1867 and exhibited his invention the same year as the Paris Exposition. He extended its application to other engineering structures such as railway tires, to pipes and floors, arches, and bridges. He was not the first to conceive the combination of metal wires or rods embedded in concrete, but despite his lack of technical training, he showed a remarkable intuitive grasp of new material. This benefited the motor car, which was then developed in 1885 for smoother and lighter drives to get the desired destination. The motor car, invented by Carl Friedrich Benz, with Bertha Benz, pioneer and founder of the automobile manufacturer Mercedes-Benz, was granted a patent. Benz soon patented the speed regulation system, the ignition using sparks with battery, like spark plug, the carburetor, the clutch, the gear shift, and the waiter radiator. Bicycles were also invented after the concrete for a smoother and enjoyable type of transportation. Considered the first true bicycle by many historians, the Ariel was the immediate precursor of the high-speed ordinary and was the standard of bicycle design for the next decade. He introduced the highly successful Coventry tricycle the following year, incorporated into the patented use of different gear and communication. Look, here are some teens riding their bicycles. Oh my gosh! Is the bike okay?
Is that what you really care about?
Oh yeah. How do you like the bike?
It hurts. I fell on the sidewalk.
Very good. Folks, this would be a magnificent invention. Okay, anyways. On more fantastic news, pilots will now be able to fly safer with the invention of glider created by George Cayley. Made in 1849, Cayley built a large gliding machine and tested the device with a 10-year-old boy aboard. The model monoplane glider wing was built to use to add more thrust, and the tail was to be used for control. Made in 1849, Cayley built a gliding machine and tested the device with a 10-year-old boy aboard. The model monoplane glider wing was built to use to add more thrust, and the tail was to be used for control of the movement of the flight. He continued his research using models and had become to understand that a curved lifting surface would generate more lift than a flat surface of equal area. Cayley tried to make the wing of the gliding machine to be the surface of 300 square feet. That's all on the streets. Stay safe, and we'll be right back after this small commercial break.
They hop, they pop, They're lean, they're beans. Take your first step into these beans with a soft, sugary shell and thick gel interior. Great for a light but fun-filled snack for ages all around. Wise words from the inventor himself. It's never too late to shake that belly with a bowl full of jelly. Beans. Haha. Give it to your mother, your father, or even your fellow soldiers going to war. Get it today for 1864. It'll leave you wanting so much more.
With all this transportation talk, we should talk about the most important one, the Underground Railway, which was also created by multiple individuals in 1863. The first urban underground railway was proposed by Charles Pearson for London in 1843, which was inspired by Brunel's Thomas Tunnel. The need for new urban transport was acknowledged, but the representational forms did not yet exist to make any significant portion of the public comfortable with it. As the idea came to America, the landowners made their slaves make it. What made the Underground Railway was the invention of iron to steel by Henry Bessemer in 1854. The Bessemer process was the first inexpensive industrial process of the mass production of steel from molten pig iron prior to the open hearth furnace. Aside from being a part of the railway track, steel made America not only grow in length, but in height due to production of the tall buildings holding hundreds of pounds. Fueling most of all the transportation was all the dependent on the finding of oil by Edwin L. Drake and George Bissell in 1859. Known for the petroleum exploration, Drake and Bissell started a new beginning for our country's economy and the future for its citizens in the past, present, and future. The only accessible oil was through the use of whales and their blubber. Bissell found that the rock oil would be practical alternative if the method could be designed to extract the oil for the ground fueling the airplanes in the sky to the cars on the streets. The discovery of the oil has altered the world. While many others are focused on moving around, others are created another kind of living by sewing. As of 1846, the creation process of the sewing machine was the work of several men over a number of years. However, Elias Howe Jr. took ownership of the sewing machine, but most of his work was based on the earliest machines of the one and only Elias Howe Jr. So to those who are making a living out of sewing, thank Isaac Singer for continuing the invention, but being more thankful to the first inventor to create a life for him and many others, Elias Howe Jr. This concludes the inventions within the 72 years. From all of us to you from Inventing News, have a safe and great day. Thank you for that wonderful commercial. With all the transportation talk, we should
From X-rays to radios, which have been in... My phone.
I'm so Shut up, Dylan! I'm recording! Introducing the new one-of-a-kind dessert that will have you melting on a hot summer's day. This shake will fossil... Sorry.